Hi, in this tutorial I'll talk about Sidekick customization. If you have already worked with AEM, you must have added custom functionalities to your content author or approver by customizing out-of-the-box AEM consoles. Same way, if I want to add a custom functionality for document authoring, I can achieve this by customizing my Sidekick. I can add custom actions or button to my Sidekick. So as part of this tutorial, we'll understand the basics of how we can customize our Sidekick or how we can add a custom actions. Throughout this tutorial, I'll use actions or buttons. Please consider those both same because technical term is actions and those UI, those look like the buttons. So I'll use either button or actions. So when you open your Sidekick, some out of the box buttons comes like edit, publish based on what page you are, either you are editing or you are publishing. So based on some additional buttons pops up. So we can add the custom button. Technically we call these actions. Like if you see on the screen here, Google Asset, this is technically an action, but we used to call it button. So as part of this tutorial, we'll see how to add those. So there are two type of actions. One is normal action, another one is action container. So what's the difference? Normal action is a button. When you click on it, some functionality would be executed. Let's say you click on this, some another console would open or palette would open and you can achieve as per the written functionality. Action container is which actually itself does nothing but hold other actions. So if you see in that screenshot here, Google Assist is a action and tools, if you see the tool, this tool contain three another actions. The tool, when you click, nothing would happen. It just popped up and show other either drop down or a panel which actually contain other actions. So these are called action container. So two things here, action and action container. Now let's understand how we can add that. So when you create your project using boilerplate code, that code does not have this configuration. So first you have to create a configuration file called config.js under tools, under Sidekick, and then this file. So this folder structure doesn't come with your boilerplate code. So in root of your project code, you have to create a folder called tools. Inside that you have to create a folder called Sidekick, and then you have to create this file config.js. Inside this file you have to make few entries. One of the entries is called plugins. Plugin is a array kind of property or that section you would say, and inside that you can create each section or each entry for one action, right? So let's say you want to add two buttons, so you have to add two entries to this plugin section. We'll see that in detail. Okay, I'll explain everything. And again, this file, these changes must be committed or pushed to a Git repo. If you have these on your local, those won't work. You have to commit those changes, you have to push those changes in your GitHub repo. Only you would able to see those changes. Now let's understand how to add an action. So here in plugins section, I will, for each action, I would make an entry here. Let's say I want to add Google Assist. What did you see in that screenshot? So here ID and title. ID should be unique. Let's say a number of actions. So each action should have a unique ID. We generally do not use it, but ideally to identify a plugin, it should be unique. Title, that would be visible on your button, means that would be the label of your button. Again, in this section, I would explain the few important properties. There are many more. I'll not explain all these properties, but as and when we need in coming tutorial, I'll keep explaining those. Here, environment. On which environment this button or action should be available or visible. Let's say you remove edit here. So this button or action won't be available for editing of your document. So these environment means on what environment that would be available. URL, that is important. When you click, what is the destination? When you click on that button, what would be the destination? What console or browser, what would be open? So this is the URL. When you click, it will open a URL in the browser. It can open in Pallet as well. I'll explain that. Pass config and pass referer, those are important. So by default, those are false. If you don't add those, it will assume as a false. But you add, if you want to make it true. First, the referer, pass referer true. When you click on this, when you click on that action, some URL would open. If you say pass referral is true, it would add your source URL as a referral in your URL. Let's say you have a domain XYZ and you are moving to google.com. So when you click in final URL on the destination, it will add as a referral is equal to XYZ domain from where you came. Pass config, that is important. When if you say true, it would pass your default configurations in your URL, in destination URL, along with whatever you added as a query parameter. So what is the default configurations? Your repo, your branch, your project name, or whatever you configure in your Sidekick in your browser. Okay, those configuration would be passed as a query parameter on your destination URL, along with whatever you added in your URL. Let's say you added Q is equal to edge delivery services. This would be passed only if you say pass config is equal to true. Okay, we'll see that in example. Exclude. If you want to exclude this action on a particular path or in a particular section, you can write a regex here. So let's say I don't want to show this action any page under /fr. So I can say exclude path this. And by default that would be available on all the pages if you don't say exclude this. Include path. Now you must have a question, why include path? When I'm saying, I said just a moment ago, it would be available on all the path if you intentionally say exclude from these paths. So this has a specific significance. This work with exclude path. So what it does, let's say if you say exclude path, exclude this from all the pages, all the section under FR. But I want to show this in a particular section under FR. So I'm denying this using exclude path, but in that particular section, I'm enabling it by saying include path. So what happened? Using exclude path, this would be disabled or would not available under /fr/ all the sections. But if I'm intentionally saying include path /fr/ blocks and whatever under those pages, so it would be available on all the pages under /fr/ blocks, right? So if you want to override exclude path for a particular section or a specific pages, you can mention those using include path. Why I'm stressing this? That because that could be interview question. That is the important topic. Now, is Pallet. When you click on that action, there are two possibilities. Either when you click, it will go to the URL, whatever the URL you mention in your configurations. It could be internal URL, it could be external URL. Why I'm saying this? Right now I said external URL, I'm saying google.com, but it could be internal URL where you write all the console and functionalities. We'll see that in a coming tutorial. Okay, but if I say is Pallet true, so that would open in Pallet, not in a new tab in your browser. We'll see that. But if you say Pallet is equal to true, then you have to define the dimensions of that Pallet. You have to define the behavior of Pallet using this property, Pallet rect. Okay, so if you say Pallet true, then you have to define this size and the position as well. So as I said, these are few important properties. There are many more. We'll see those when we need. This to action a single action. This is the section to add a single action. Now, if I want to add a action container, so how do I do that? So there, again, the same thing, you have to add in sections or entry inside plugins. That's it. Nothing specific, nothing different. So let's say I want to add a action container. So I add a section, say ID, whatever ID you want to add it, and the title, you know this title would be as a label in that particular button. Now you have to add a specific property called isContainer. isContainer is equal to true. As soon as you say isContainer is true, this will consider as a container and it can hold other actions. Now, again, you would add a other section the same way how did we define in the previous slide. But there is a one difference here, important. Container ID. Now the container ID should be the same what was the container ID when I defined container. If you see in the blue in upper section, ID is equal to tools. But in this, I would say to make as a child actions to that action container, I would define container ID same as what did I define earlier. Rest of the things are same. Rest of the things are exactly same. Let's say, so if you see the title would be localized, so there would be a button called tools. When you click, a pop-up will open or a drop-down will open, which contain this another action or button with title localized. I'll add another section. Again, I would say container ID is equal to 2. That means I'm adding this action also under that tools container, and rest of the things are normal as I did explain in previous slide. Yeah, now let's see the demo. I took a lot of time to explain this because those are very important. You might have many interview questions around this Sidekick customization if your interviewer is really smart. Okay, now let's get into a demo. So you would see here inside root, I created a folder called tools, then Sidekick and this config.json. Inside this, I defined this file. It's a JSON. I'd say project. What is the name of project? There are other entries as well like host and few others. I don't need those as of now. I'll explain those in coming tutorial. As part of this tutorial, we'll only see the basics of it, very basics. And then I set the plugin section. And inside this, I added one for the Google Assist. Then another one is for the container and two inside container. One is localized, one is YouTube. Nothing is happening. I want to show only how to add buttons. Okay, and some out of the box consoles I would open. Okay, now you need to push those changes in your GitHub, in your main repo. Only that would work. So if you are working on local, still you need to push those changes in your GitHub repo. So let me push those. Cool, let me push this quickly. So changes have been pushed to my GitHub repo, and now let me open and see. So if you see now these buttons are available. Google Asset, as I said, I added as a action, but inside tool I added two other actions. So let me click on this. So as soon as I click here, so if you see it moved to the URL which I mentioned here. And because of these configurations, because of this pass referral is equal to true, and here config pass config. So actually this is executed, right? This button, I click on this. So it says pass referral is equal to true. Pass config is again also true. Let's see those. That is important. If you see here, this whatever query parameter I added, that is available. If you see the ref here, these are the configuration. Those are coming because I said config is equal to true. What is my branch? This. What is my repo? This. Owner and the project name. And again, you would see one more thing here, referrer. You see this is referrer. From which domain it came here. So if I say, if I either remove or say false, so this information won't come along here. Now, let's say the exclude path. I say, don't show, exclude this from /fr/ whatever there, and include this for a particular section under fr for the block. Now let's say this first here. So let me do it. Let me say fr. If I say fr, see this is not available. My Google Assist has gone because I said don't include that on /fr/ and all the pages. So if I say any page, let me find what are the pages here, what the pages I have, that won't be available, but that would be available under blocks. So let me find those pages for this demo. So now you would see I have a page called countries under FR. So this Google Asset is not available. Assist, Google Assist. And if I say any page under blocks, you see FR/blocks, because I say include in this path. So this is available here. So that's the use of this exclude path and include path. I give a more time, means I intentionally give time to this section because that is important. Okay, now let's understand what is this environment. So what would happen, I'm taking only this Google Assets example. Okay, I can add those functionalities here as well, but I just need to explain the concept to you, right? What happened, let me remove this from preview. So first you need to see here, this is the preview environment. Okay, preview, this is the environment switcher. So this is the preview environment. And so if because this is visible, reason being I gave these environments here. Let me remove this. Okay, and let me remove from the dev as well, edit as well. Okay, first let me save this, but let me show you the dev first so that you can see where is the dev. Let me click on this, and this is my edit environment. So this is available on edit as well. So if I remove this from here, and along with this, let me add a palette as well. It won't open anything inside palette because of this cross reference or something, but I'll show you that. Okay, let me remove these first and let me push those changes. Let me push quickly. Okay, so changes have been pushed. Now this should be available. This shouldn't be available on preview environment and edit environment. So let me open this. Let me refresh this first. Okay, it was in edit. So this is gone because I removed that environment. Same way, this is a preview. If I refresh this, so it should be gone. Yeah, it's gone because of that functionality, because the environment I added there. So if you see here, I added palette is equal to true, and I defined this dimensions and the position of that palette. Okay, sometimes palette doesn't work because I'll show you this palette thing when I show you integration of AEM assets with Edge Delivery Services or some custom functionality. But let me show you this. Okay, so how you can see that, let me show you. Let's save and let me push these changes here. So the changes have been pushed. Let me refresh. The button should be back. Yeah, button should be back. So earlier what happened when I click a new tab opened, and whatever the destination URL that is open in browser. But now if I open this, I set palette is equal to true. So now that should open in a palette, not in browser. What do you mean by palette? Let's see that. So if you see this, the palette has been opened. Okay, you say this is refused. This is something different. This is not related to functionality. I'll explain this in coming tutorials. Okay, this is blocked. This is not related to our functionality. Intention was to show you what are the options of the action. We'll see that. I'll show you this in coming tutorials. Okay, so if you see, this is called palette and it will open in this palette. You can define their palette size and all from here, whatever you gave here. I hope you understood. That was a really important topic. If you have any question, add your comment. Thank you.